In the gleaming corridors of the Jedi temple on Coruscant, Padmé Amidala stood motionless, her hands gripping the hilt of a newly forged lightsaber. The blade, a vibrant blue as clear as Naboo's skies, hummed softly as she ignited it for the first time. Mere months ago, she was a senator, a diplomat who wielded words over weapons, but now a strange power coursed through her, a connection to the Force, awakened by a near-fatal encounter on Geonosis. This discovery had reshaped her destiny. She stood at the crossroads of two worlds, her duty to the Galactic Senate and the call of the Jedi Order. Within her, a quiet conflict simmered, her secret love for Anakin Skywalker, her husband in the shadows, clashed with a newfound purpose she could not ignore. As the temple's alarms blared, signaling a separatist assault on Ryloth, Padmé knew her path as a Jedi Knight had begun, and it would lead her to choices that could unravel the galaxy. The journey to Ryloth was a blur of hyperspace streaks and hurried briefings aboard a Republic cruiser. Padmé, clad in the simple robes of a Jedi, stood beside Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker in the command center. Her presence as a Jedi trainee was unconventional, her training accelerated due to the war's demands, and her surprising aptitude for the Force. Obi-Wan's calm gaze lingered on her, assessing her readiness, while Anakin's eyes betrayed a storm of pride and unease. Their marriage, a secret buried beneath layers of duty, weighed heavily on them both, though neither spoke of it. The mission was clear: liberate Ryloth's capital from a separatist blockade led by Wat Tambor, whose droid armies had choked the planet's resources. Padmé's role was to infiltrate the city with a small strike team, using her diplomatic instincts and nascent Force abilities to disable the enemy's command center. As the cruiser descended through Ryloth's atmosphere, crimson laser fire lit the sky. Padmé's heart raced, not from fear, but from the unfamiliar thrill of the Force guiding her senses. She felt the vibrations of distant explosions, the desperation of Twi'lek civilians, and the cold precision of droid calculations. Anakin, leading the air assault, cast her a fleeting glance before boarding his starfighter, his expression a silent plea for her safety. Obi-Wan placed a steady hand on her shoulder, his voice calm but firm, urging her to trust the Force. Padmé nodded, her lightsaber clipped to her belt, and led her team, Captain Rex, Ahsoka Tano, and a squad of clones, toward the surface in a stealth shuttle. The descent was treacherous, the shuttle weaving through volleys of anti-aircraft fire. Padmé closed her eyes, reaching out with the Force to sense the safest path. Her mind brushed against the chaos below, guiding the pilot to a narrow canyon where they landed undetected. Ahsoka, her twin lightsabers already drawn, grinned at Padmé's focus, sensing a kindred spirit in her unyielding resolve. Rex, ever pragmatic, outlined the plan. Infiltrate the Separatist command spire, disable the droid control network, and signal Anakin's forces for the final push. Padmé's role was to navigate the spire's security, her diplomatic experience making her adept at reading patterns and exploiting weaknesses. The team moved swiftly through Ryloth's dusty streets, cloaked in twilight. Padmé's Force-enhanced reflexes surprised even herself as she deflected blaster bolts with her lightsaber, her movements fluid yet unpolished. Ahsoka fought with acrobatic grace, carving through droids, while Rex and the clones provided covering fire. The spire loomed ahead, a monolith of steel and menace. Padmé's senses sharpened, detecting a trap, a squad of droidekas waiting in ambush. She raised a hand, using the Force to collapse a nearby wall, crushing the droids before they could deploy. Ahsoka's eyes widened in approval, but Padmé's focus remained unbroken, her mind fixed on the mission and the lives at stake. Inside the spire, the air was thick with the hum of machinery and the stench of oil. Padmé's diplomatic instincts proved invaluable as she deciphered the control room's layout, bypassing security codes with a blend of intuition and Force precision. But as they reached the central console, Wat Tambor emerged, flanked by Magna Guards wielding electrostaffs. His metallic voice mocked their efforts, claiming Ryloth was already lost. Padmé's lightsaber ignited, her stance steady despite her inexperience. Ahsoka and Rex engaged the guards, their teamwork seamless, while Padmé faced Tambor alone. The skirmish was brutal, but brief. Tambor, no warrior, relied on his guards, but Padmé's force-guided strikes disarmed him, her blade slicing through his staff. She pinned him against the console, demanding he surrender. Tambor's defiance faltered as Ahsoka and Rex dispatched the guards, and with a swift motion, Padmé disabled the droid network, plunging the separatist forces into disarray. The spire trembled as Anakin's airstrike began, his starfighters tearing through the blockade above. Padmé's comlink crackled with his voice, laced with relief, confirming the city's liberation. Yet as she stood victorious, a shadow stirred within her, a vision of Anakin, consumed by darkness, his eyes burning yellow. The Force had shown her a glimpse of a possible future, and it chilled her to the core. Back aboard the cruiser, the victory was bittersweet. Ryloth was free, but the war raged on. Padmé's success earned her the respect of the Jedi Council, though Mace Windu's stern gaze lingered, questioning her rapid rise. Yoda, ever enigmatic, sensed the conflict within her, urging her to meditate on her path. Anakin, however, was less reserved, pulling her aside in a quiet corridor. His hands trembled as he spoke of his fear for her safety, his love for her a tether he could not release. Padmé's heart ached, torn between her vows as a Jedi and the man she loved. She promised they would find a way, but the vision of his darkness haunted her, a warning she could not ignore. The war escalated, and Padmé's training intensified. She sparred with Obi-Wan, her lightsaber clashing against his in the temple's training halls, each strike refining her skill. Ahsoka became a confidant, their bond forged in battle and shared ideals. Yet Padmé's diplomatic roots never faded. She advocated for peace in Senate sessions, her Jedi status lending weight to her words. Her dual roles drew suspicion from Palpatine, whose probing questions masked a deeper intent. Padmé sensed his scrutiny, her Force instincts warning of a shadow behind his genial facade, but she lacked proof to act. Her next mission took her to Felucia, a jungle world under siege by General Grievous. The Jedi Council tasked Padmé, Anakin, and Ahsoka with rescuing a besieged Republic outpost. The lush, bioluminescent jungle was a stark contrast to Ryloth's arid wastes, its beauty hiding deadly threats. Padmé's Force senses guided them through ambushes, her lightsaber cutting through battle droids with growing confidence. Anakin fought with reckless brilliance, his blade a blur, while Ahsoka's agility complemented his strength. But Grievous awaited them, his 4 lightsabers spinning like a storm of death. The duel was chaotic, the jungle alive with the clash of blades and the roar of blasters. Padmé faced Grievous alongside Anakin, their movements synchronized despite their unspoken tension. Her Force abilities disrupted Grievous's rhythm, allowing Anakin to land a critical blow, forcing the general to retreat. The outpost was saved, but Padmé's vision returned. Stronger now. Anakin, cloaked in black, standing over a burning temple. She stumbled, her lightsaber faltering, and Anakin's concern was immediate, his touch grounding her. Ahsoka, watching silently, sensed the weight of their secret, her loyalty to both unwavering. As the war ground on, Padmé's missions grew more perilous. She led a covert operation on Cato Nemoidia, infiltrating a Trade Federation stronghold to uncover separatist plans. Her diplomatic finesse and Force-enhanced stealth allowed her to navigate the opulent halls undetected, but the mission revealed a chilling truth. Encrypted transmissions linking separatist attacks to a source within the Republic. Padmé's suspicions turned toward Palpatine, though she shared them only with Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, wary of fracturing the fragile alliance. Her personal struggles deepened. Anakin's fear of losing her fueled his protectiveness, straining their bond. In stolen moments, they clung to each other, their love a refuge from the war's chaos. Padmé's meditations grew troubled, the Force showing her fragments of a galaxy in ruin, with Anakin at its center. She confided in Yoda, who spoke of balance and sacrifice, his words cryptic yet heavy with meaning. Padmé resolved to protect Anakin, not just from the war, but from the darkness she sensed within him, even as her own path grew uncertain. The war's relentless grind pushed Padmé to her limits, both as a Jedi and as a woman caught between love and duty. Her missions grew bolder, each victory tempered by the growing shadow of her visions. On Umbara, a world shrouded in perpetual twilight, she led a joint operation with Anakin, Obi-Wan, and the 501st Legion to dismantle a separatist weapons facility. The planet's eerie glow and dense fog amplified her Force senses, guiding her through ambushes of shadow-draped droids. Her lightsaber carved arcs of blue light, its hum a steady counterpoint to the chaos of blaster fire. Anakin fought with ferocious intensity, his blade a whirlwind, yet Padmé noticed a reckless edge to his strikes, a desperation that mirrored her visions. Obi-Wan, ever the anchor, coordinated the clones with precision, his calm presence steadying the team. The facility's core was a labyrinth of pulsing machinery, guarded by a cadre of commando droids. Padmé's diplomatic acumen shone as she deciphered the facility's security patterns, disabling traps with Force-enhanced precision. But as they reached the central reactor, a new threat emerged. Asajj Ventress, her twin red lightsabers casting a sinister glow. The assassin's taunts cut deeper than her blades, mocking Padmé's newfound role as a Jedi and hinting at secrets within the Republic's heart. The duel erupted with savage intensity. Padmé and Anakin faced Ventress together, their blades clashing in a dance of light and shadow. Padmé's inexperience showed, her strikes less refined, but her Force instincts compensated, deflecting Ventress's lethal precision. Anakin's aggression drove Ventress back, but his anger flared, his eyes glinting with a darkness Padmé recognized from her visions. Obi-Wan and the clones secured the reactor, planting charges as Padmé and Anakin forced Ventress to retreat into the fog. The facility erupted in a cascade of fire, the shockwave knocking Padmé to her knees. Anakin pulled her to safety, his grip tight, his breath ragged with unspoken fear. As they boarded the evac shuttle, Padmé's heart ached. The victory felt hollow, overshadowed by the growing rift between her and Anakin. Ahsoka, sensing the tension, offered a quiet nod of support, her loyalty to Padmé deepening through shared trials. Back on Coruscant, Padmé meditated in the Jedi Temple's gardens, seeking clarity. The Force responded with fractured images, Anakin wreathed in flames, Palpatine's silhouette against a blood-red sky, and a galaxy torn asunder. Yoda's counsel echoed in her mind. Balance required sacrifice, but the path remained shrouded. Padmé's suspicions about Palpatine intensified. In Senate chambers, she clashed with his loyalists, her Jedi status lending weight to her calls for transparency. Bail Organa and Mon Mothma became allies, sharing her unease about Palpatine's emergency powers. A covert meeting with Obi-Wan revealed intercepted transmissions linking Palpatine to separatist movements, but the evidence was circumstantial, a puzzle missing key pieces. Padmé's dual roles as senator and Jedi strained her, her heart torn between exposing Palpatine and protecting Anakin, whose trust in the Chancellor remained unshaken. Their stolen moments grew fraught, Anakin's fear of losing her clashing with her resolve to uncover the truth. Each kiss felt like a countdown, each whispered promise a defiance of the darkness she foresaw. Padmé, now officially a Jedi Knight after her trials on Umbara, joined Anakin, Ahsoka, and Plo Koon. A new mission beckoned, this time to the crystal caves of Ilum, where the Jedi sought kyber crystals to bolster their ranks. The cave's icy beauty was a stark contrast to the war's brutality, their luminescent crystals humming with the Force. Padmé's connection to the Force deepened here, her lightsaber resonating with a crystal that amplified her clarity. But the mission turned deadly when Count Dooku arrived, his presence a cold blade in the Force. His crimson lightsaber ignited, and he challenged Padmé directly, sensing her as a threat to his master's plans. The duel was a masterclass in contrasts. Dooku's elegant precision against Padmé's raw determination. Anakin and Ahsoka engaged Dooku's droid escorts, their blades flashing through the ice, while Plo Koon coordinated the retreat of younglings who had come to claim their crystals. Padmé's lightsaber met Dooku's with a shower of sparks, her force-enhanced reflexes barely keeping pace. Dooku's taunts were surgical, probing her love for Anakin, her loyalty to the Jedi, her fear of failure. Each word struck like a blade, but Padmé drew strength from her purpose, to protect the galaxy, to save Anakin from himself. She deflected a lethal strike, using the Force to shatter an ice stalactite, forcing Dooku to retreat. The caves trembled, and the Jedi escaped, but Dooku's words lingered, sowing doubt in Padmé's heart. The war's toll mounted. Padmé's missions took her to worlds scarred by conflict. Christophsis, where she negotiated with local leaders while deflecting sniper fire. Mandalore, where she aided Satine Kryze against Death Watch insurgents, their shared idealism forging a quiet bond. And Kashyyyk, where she fought alongside Wookiees to repel droid invasions. Each battle honed her skills, her lightsaber becoming an extension of her will. Yet her visions grew more vivid, now showing Anakin kneeling before a cloaked figure, his lightsaber extinguished. She confided in Ahsoka, who urged her to trust Anakin, but Padmé's fear deepened. Obi-Wan, sensing her turmoil, offered guidance, his own grief over Satine a mirror to her struggles. Their friendship became a lifeline, grounding her amidst the chaos. Palpatine's shadow loomed larger. A mission to Kamino uncovered a disturbing truth. The clone army's creation was tied to a Sith plot, with encrypted orders traced to Coruscant. Padmé shared her findings with the Jedi Council, but Windu's skepticism and Yoda's caution frustrated her. She resolved to act alone, infiltrating Palpatine's private archives with Force-enhanced stealth. The archives revealed fragments of a grand design, a war orchestrated to erode the Jedi, with Anakin as a pivotal piece. Padmé's heart sank, realizing Palpatine's influence over her husband was no coincidence. She confronted Anakin, pleading with him to see the truth, but his loyalty to Palpatine blinded him, their argument ending in pained silence. The breaking point came on Dantooine, where Padmé led a Republic offensive against a separatist stronghold. The battle was a maelstrom of artillery and lightsaber duels, with Padmé, Anakin, and Ahsoka fighting side by side. Her leadership inspired the clones, her Force abilities turning the tide. But as victory neared, General Grievous ambushed them, his mechanical limbs wielding stolen lightsabers. The duel was relentless, Grievous's strength overwhelming. Padmé's Force senses guided her, deflecting his strikes, while Anakin's rage-fueled assault pushed Grievous back. Ahsoka's agility disrupted the general, allowing Padmé to land a critical blow, severing one of his arms. Grievous fled, but the cost was high. Dozens of clones lay dead, and Anakin's anger burned hotter, his eyes flickering with the darkness Padmé dreaded. Back on Coruscant, Padmé stood before the Jedi Council, presenting her evidence against Palpatine. Windu's resolve hardened, but Yoda urged caution, sensing a trap. Padmé's frustration boiled over. She could no longer wait for proof while the galaxy burned. She resolved to confront Palpatine, with or without the Council's blessing. Anakin, torn between love and loyalty, begged her to stay, his fear of losing her palpable. Padmé's heart broke, but her duty as a Jedi outweighed her desires. She kissed him, a promise to return, and left for the Senate, her lightsaber hidden beneath her robes. The Senate's towering spires cast long shadows as Padmé moved through its labyrinthine halls, her Jedi robes replaced by a senator's gown to blend into the crowd. Her lightsaber, concealed beneath the folds, was a silent reminder of her dual identity. The Force guided her steps, sharpening her senses to the undercurrent of deceit that permeated Coruscant's political heart. Palpatine's office awaited, a fortress of secrets guarded by protocol droids and red guards. Padmé's evidence, fragments of Sith machinations, burned in her mind, but she knew confronting the Chancellor without Jedi support was a gamble. Yet the visions of Anakin's fall drove her forward, her love for him a beacon against the darkness she sensed in Palpatine. She slipped past security with Force-enhanced stealth, her movements a whisper in the Force. The Chancellor's chambers were dimly lit, hollow screens flickering with war reports. Palpatine stood at the window, his back to her, his presence a void in the Force. Padmé's hand hovered over her lightsaber, but before she could speak, Palpatine turned, his smile serpentine. He acknowledged her Jedi prowess, his voice dripping with feigned admiration, and hinted at truths she could not yet grasp. The air thickened with menace as Padmé accused him of orchestrating the war, her evidence laid bare. Palpatine's laughter was a cold blade, and with a flick of his hand, the Red Guards attacked. Padmé's lightsaber ignited, its blue glow slicing through the guards' staffs. Her movements were precise, honed by months of war, but Palpatine's power was overwhelming. He unleashed a torrent of Force lightning, forcing Padmé to deflect it with her blade. The chamber shook, windows shattering as the duel spilled onto the Senate's outer platforms. Padmé's Force senses screamed warnings, guiding her through Palpatine's relentless assault. She fought not just for herself, but for Anakin, for the Republic, for the galaxy she swore to protect. Yet Palpatine's taunts cut deeper than his lightning, sowing doubt about Anakin's loyalty and her own resolve. The confrontation was interrupted by the arrival of Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka, alerted by Bail Organa's warning of Padmé's plan. Anakin's eyes blazed with fear and anger, his lightsaber igniting as he rushed to her side. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka engaged Palpatine's reinforcements, their blades a flurry of green and blue against droid assassins. Padmé and Anakin faced Palpatine together, their synergy a testament to their bond. But Palpatine's power was unmatched, his lightning driving them back. He revealed himself as Darth Sidious, his voice a venomous promise of a new order. Padmé's heart sank, her visions converging on this moment. Anakin's fate hung in the balance. The Senate platform became a battlefield, wind howling as Sidious's crimson lightsaber materialized, its hiss a death knell. Padmé lunged, her blade meeting his in a shower of sparks. Anakin struck from the side, his strikes fueled by desperation. Sidious moved like a specter, his blade a blur, deflecting their attacks with ease. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka fought through waves of droids, their lightsabers carving paths to reach their allies. The platform buckled, metal groaning under the Force's strain. Sidious's lightning lashed out, knocking Padmé back, her body skidding across the durasteel. Anakin roared, his blade clashing with Sidious's, each strike a thunderclap. Padmé rose, blood trickling from her brow, and rejoined the fray, her Force senses locking onto Sidious's rhythm. She deflected a lethal strike, giving Anakin an opening, but Sidious countered, hurling Anakin into a shattered column. Padmé's scream echoed as she charged, her lightsaber slashing at Sidious's flank. He parried, his laughter mocking her efforts, but Padmé's resolve burned brighter. She drew on the Force, shattering a nearby holoscreen, its debris forcing Sidious to dodge. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka broke through, their blades joining the assault. The 4 Jedi pressed Sidious, their lightsabers a symphony of light. Sidious's movements faltered, his arrogance giving way to fury. He unleashed a Force wave, sending Obi-Wan and Ahsoka sprawling. Padmé and Anakin stood firm, their bond a shield against his power. Sidious targeted Anakin, his lightning coiling around him, whispering promises of power. Padmé sensed the darkness pulling at her husband, her visions flashing. Anakin in black, a galaxy in flames. She threw herself between them, her lightsaber absorbing the lightning, her body trembling with effort. Anakin's eyes cleared, his love for Padmé anchoring him. He broke free, his blade arcing toward Sidious. Padmé joined him, their strikes synchronized, forcing Sidious to his knees. With a final desperate surge, Sidious hurled lightning, but Padmé redirected it with the Force, the energy searing his cloak. Anakin's blade struck true, piercing Sidious's chest. The Sith Lord's scream shattered the air, his body collapsing in a heap of smoldering robes. The platform fell silent, the wind carrying away the echoes of battle. The aftermath was a quiet storm. Sidious's death sent shockwaves through the galaxy, his secrets unraveling as Jedi and senators scoured his archives. Padmé stood on the Senate platform, her lightsaber extinguished, her body bruised but unbroken. Anakin knelt beside her, his hand clasping hers, their bond a fragile thread in the chaos. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka joined them, their faces etched with relief and sorrow. The war was not over, but its architect was gone, and the path to peace lay open. Coruscant buzzed with revelations. Bail Organa and Mon Mothma led the Senate in dismantling Palpatine's emergency powers, their voices rising above the chaos. Padmé, no longer a senator but a Jedi, testified before the Senate, her words exposing Sidious's manipulations. The separatist leadership, fractured without Dooku or Grievous, sought negotiations, their resolve weakened by the truth. Padmé's evidence, combined with Dooku's archived transmissions, confirmed the war's orchestration, uniting Republic and Separatist factions in a tentative truce. The Jedi Order faced its own reckoning. Windu, humbled by their blindness, stepped down, passing leadership to Yoda and Plo Koon. Padmé's journey as a Jedi reshaped the Order's philosophy, her advocacy for emotion and compassion echoing Obi-Wan's reforms in another timeline. She trained alongside Ahsoka, their friendship a cornerstone of the new Jedi path. Yet her heart remained with Anakin, their marriage no longer a secret. The Council, wary but evolving, allowed their union, recognizing love as a strength, not a weakness. Anakin's brush with darkness left scars, but Padmé's faith guided him back. They settled on Naboo, their home a sanctuary from the galaxy's wounds. Padmé, now a Jedi Master, mentored younglings, her lightsaber a symbol of hope. Anakin, stepping back from the front lines, rebuilt communities alongside Rex and the clones, who were granted citizenship. The galaxy healed slowly, its scars a reminder of the cost. On quiet nights, Padmé and Anakin stood by Lake Varikino, their twins, Luke and Leia, playing in the grass, the Force humming softly around them. The visions of darkness had faded, replaced by a fragile, radiant peace. Yet the galaxy was not without shadows. Rumors of surviving Sith acolytes whispered in the outer rim, and Padmé knew peace was a delicate balance. She held Anakin's hand, their love a vow to protect what they had won. The Jedi, no longer bound to temples, walked among the people, guardians of a new era. As fireworks lit the Naboo sky, Padmé's heart swelled with hope, tempered by the weight of sacrifice. The war had taken much, but it had forged a galaxy worth fighting for. And folks, that's our story. I loved diving into Padmé as a Jedi, blending her diplomatic heart with lightsaber action. Inspired by her strength in The Phantom Menace and the emotional depth of Revenge of the Sith, I wanted to explore her as a Force wielder saving Anakin and the galaxy. Hope you enjoyed this epic ride. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next tale.